The Mavericks just fired their general manager, Nico Harrison. And it all started with one trade, Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis. It was supposed to be bold. It was supposed to win now. Instead, it's become one of the biggest collapses in NBA history. Today, Dallas sits at the bottom of the West. Luka is thriving in Los Angeles, and the man who pulled the trigger on the deal is out of a job. How did one of the league's brightest futures implode so fast? Let's rewind to the moment. Everything changed. The announcement hit social media like a shockwave. Within minutes, hashtags lit up timelines and fans flooded comment sections asking the same question: how did it go so wrong so fast? Sports anchors scrambled to confirm the firing while old clips of Harrison praising the trade replayed across news channels. The same clips that once sounded confident now felt haunting. Because this wasn't just about a bad season, it was about a franchise losing its soul and a fan base losing its patience. Every headline carried a tone of disbelief. Dallas, a team once known for smart moves and loyalty, had just become the cautionary tale of the NBA. The downfall wasn't sudden. It was a slow unraveling, and the story starts long before the firing notice hit the press. February 2025, Dallas shocks the world. They trade away Luka Doncic, a five-time All-NBA superstar and the face of the city, to the Los Angeles Lakers. In return, they get Anthony Davis and a package of future picks. The front office sells the move as a win-now decision. They say defense wins championships. They say Luka's ball, dominance limits roster flexibility, but fans aren't buying it. Social media melts down. Sports talk shows call it career suicide because Luka wasn't just a player. He was the Mavericks, and overnight the team traded away its identity for a dream built on hope and health. At first, everyone thought it was crazy. Then it got worse. Inside the organization, Harrison called it a visionary move. He told reporters Dallas was too predictable that opponents had figured them out. He wanted a roster built like the old Spurs or the 2020 Lakers, big, tough, and defensive. The idea sounded respectable, but the timing was disastrous. Dallas had just come off a deep playoff run and Luka was entering his prime. Even other executives around the league reportedly called the move unthinkable. Fans stood outside the arena holding signs that read, "Bring Luka back." Within a day, jerseys that once sold out were stacked on clearance racks. The city's heartbeat changed because when Luka left, the Magic left with him. The trade didn't just shift the roster, it split the fan base, half believing in a future built on defense, and the other half mourning a superstar who should have retired. A Maverick Dallas was no longer one voice. It was a city at war with itself. The national media treated the deal like a circus. Every talk show host from New York to LA took turns mocking the decision. Clips of fans crying outside the arena went viral, and even former players like Dirk Nowitzki avoided comment. When the franchise legend goes silent, you know something is wrong. Dallas didn't just make a risky move. They had rolled a grenade into their own locker room. When training camp opened, Dallas tried to look confident with press conferences, hype videos, and shiny new slogans. Nico Harrison stood at the podium and promised a culture of toughness. "Defense wins," rings, he said with a smile. The roster looked imposing on paper. Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving returning from injury, Klay Thompson chasing one more run, and the top draft pick, Cooper Flagg, the young phenom expected to be the next big thing. It sounded unstoppable size, rebounding rim protection. But there was a problem. Basketball isn't played on paper. Behind the scenes, it was chaos. Players struggled to adjust to each other. AD wanted post touches. Kyrie needed freedom. Klay wanted shots, and nobody knew who the leader was. Training camp footage showed forced smiles and awkward energy. Harrison kept telling media outlets that everything was fine, but insiders were already leaking stories of miscommunication. The team was built for defense, yet even scrimmages looked sloppy. Davis was dominant when healthy, but conditioning was a problem, and you could see the wear on his body. Kyrie did his best to motivate rookies, but the locker room vibe felt temporary. No connection, no trust, just professionals sharing a uniform. The media spun the narrative that this was a fresh start. But you can't manufacture chemistry. Fans who attended preseason games noticed the disconnect. The team looked robotic, lacking the joy and fire that Luka brought every night. By the time the season opener arrived, Dallas was already fighting doubt, and it showed in every press conference where players spoke like they were trying to convince themselves more than the public that this experiment was going to work. The regular season hits and everything falls apart. Anthony Davis strains a calf 2 weeks in, out indefinitely. Kyrie Irving is still rehabbing and only plays limited minutes. Klay's shot disappears and the Mavericks' offense grinds to a halt. They can't create shots, they can't hit threes, they can't run pick and roll without Luka. Within a month, Dallas ranks near the bottom of the league in offensive efficiency games, and with boos echoing through the American Airlines Center. Meanwhile, Luka Doncic is lighting up Los Angeles triple-doubles MVP chants. The Lakers are back on top of the West. For Dallas fans, every highlight Luka drops in purple and gold feels like another stab to the heart, and that's when the chants start. Fire Nico. The numbers were brutal. Dallas ranked 26th in points per possession and dead last in paint touches. Anthony Davis was averaging career lows in minutes and efficiency, and the new defensive system designed to protect him was backfiring. Cooper Flagg showed flashes of brilliance but was often benched late in games because veterans demanded playing time. Fans began to feel like the season was already over by Thanksgiving. The arena that used to shake with energy now sat half empty as booing became routine. Each press conference felt like a funeral. Harrison repeated the same lines about trusting the process, but even he didn't believe them anymore. At first, it's a few frustrated fans yelling from the cheap seats. Then it spreads. Every home game turns into a protest. The camera pans to Nico Harrison sitting courtside stone-faced as the crowd roars his name for the wrong reason. Memes flood Twitter fire. Nico trends for days. Podcasts label the Luka trade the worst move of the decade. Insiders report tension inside the locker room. Players confused about their roles. Coaches frustrated with the front office direction. The Mavericks went from hopeful to hopeless in record time, and no one believed ownership would act this soon until today. November 11th, 2025. Breaking news hits the sports world. Reuters confirms it. First, Dallas Mavericks fire general manager Nico Harrison after a 3-8 start to the season. The same man who traded away Luka Doncic is gone. Owner Patrick Dumont releases a statement. This decision reflects our commitment to building a championship-caliber organization. Our fans deserve accountability. The franchise value has dropped by nearly $100 million since the trade ticket sales are down. Merchandise is sitting on shelves. Michael Finley and Matt Riccardi are named interim general managers. Harrison, the architect of the Luka trade, stays silent on social media. But fans notice something. He quietly removes Dallas Mavericks GM from his Instagram bio within an hour of the announcement. The message is clear. The experiment is over. Without Luka, the Mavericks have no identity. Anthony Davis has missed more games than he's played. Kyrie Irving's contract looks like a time bomb, and Cooper Flagg, the rookie phenom, shows flashes of brilliance but cannot carry a broken roster. Dallas ranks near last in both offensive and defensive efficiency. Attendance has dipped. National broadcasts are pulling their scheduled games. Meanwhile, Luka Doncic is playing the best basketball of his life, 33 points per game, MVP front-runner. The Lakers look unstoppable, and every Dallas fan knows who built them. The contrast couldn't be sharper. One franchise soaring, the other sinking. The answer seems simple: everything. The Mavericks overvalued defense. They undervalued chemistry. They ignored what Luka brought that no metric could measure: gravity, leadership, unpredictability. Anthony Davis was supposed to stabilize the defense instead. He broke the foundation. His health was the entire bet, and the bet didn't cash. The front office tried to copy a formula from another era: big men and grit instead of skill and space. But this is the modern NBA. You need creators, you need shooters, you need continuity. Dallas had all three with Luka, then they traded it away, and when the plan fell apart, they doubled down. Now the Mavericks face a question no team wants to ask. Do they rebuild around Cooper Flagg or try to salvage what's left? Anthony Davis's contract is massive and nearly unmovable. Kyrie Irving's future is uncertain. The team owes picks through 2030. Reports suggest internal pressure to start over to trade Davis while he still has value. Others inside the organization believe they should hold on, wait for Kyrie's return, and try again next year. But the clock is ticking. Dallas isn't just losing games, they're losing fans. And once a franchise loses belief, the rebuild takes more than players. It takes forgiveness. Dallas bet everything on a shortcut. They chased size over chemistry, defense over playmaking, and hype over patience. Now they're left with broken pieces, an injured superstar, and a fan base that no longer trusts the people running the team. Nico Harrison's firing closes one chapter, but it doesn't fix the damage. For Dallas, this isn't about the next trade, it's about remembering what made them great in the first place. The boldest move isn't always the smartest. Sometimes the hardest thing is to stay the course. Keep your star and build the right way, because in chasing a new identity, Dallas lost the only one that ever mattered, and Luka Doncic is reminding the world of that every single night in Los Angeles. Every era of basketball has a lesson written in heartbreak. For Dallas, this one will echo for years. You can replace players but not culture. You can buy defense but not belief, and you can't fake chemistry. The organization's next chapter will decide if this was a temporary fall or a generation-long curse. Because rebuilding is not about drafting talent, it's about rebuilding trust from ownership to coaches to fans to the locker room. The city must heal, and that healing starts with honesty until Dallas faces what really went wrong. They'll keep chasing ghosts instead of greatness. So what do you think? Was this truly the worst trade in NBA history, or could Dallas have saved it if they waited? And while you're here, share your take on whether Cooper Flagg can rebuild this franchise or if Dallas is doomed to repeat the same mistakes. Every comment helps this story reach more fans who still believe that basketball is about more than stats. It's about heart. Let's hear what you think. Comment below and don't forget to subscribe for more stories from the wild side of the league.